you ask, I forgot to download the off-season roster, so Jimmy Butler is not playing in this game for the Timberwolves, so just be aware. But they did trade Ricky Rubio to the Jazz. Let's look at the official trade. So this is the official trade. The Utah Jazz will be trading a 2018 protected first-round pick. I don't know what type of protection it is. I'm just going to say top 5. I might be wrong. And in return, they're going to be getting Ricky Rubio from the Timberwolves. See, they still have Zach LaVine, and, well, they don't have Jimmy Butler. But anyway, so we're going to start with the Jazz's take on this trade, and I think it's a good trade. It can be, that pick could be really bad. It's going to be protected, so if they are really bad, then they're still going to get it. But in 2019, if they're really bad, then they're not going to get it. The Timberwolves will. But that's if Gordon Hayward doesn't come back. And they still have Rudy Gobert and Derek Favors and now Ricky Rubio and George Hill, maybe. Now, George Hill is a free agent, as well as Ricky Rubio, so the Jazz has a very busy next few days with free agency starting tomorrow. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to upload it tomorrow morning about, like, free agency predictions, because I've been way more focused on the draft than free agency, so I want to do something for free agency. So, for the Jazz, I give this a B+. I feel like it could be risky, like that 2019 pick, or if they re-sign Gordon Hayward, then, I mean, the Timberwolves are going to get in 2018, and it's not going to be a big deal. But George Hill and Gordon Hayward are both going to be asking for max contracts. Definitely Gordon Hayward. And if Gordon Hayward's return has a lot to do with what George Hill will do. So if Gordon Hayward doesn't return, then George Hill might not. Or the Jazz might not have enough money if they do re-sign Gordon Hayward. Personally, I don't think George Hill will return to the Jazz. I wouldn't be surprised if Hayward returned to the Jazz, but I don't think Hill will. So I think this will benefit them. However, it might not if they lose Hayward. But I think this is definitely sure that they're not going to bring George Hill back, because they would rather Rubio for much less money, who's not quite as good as George Hill, but almost as good, or George Hill, who's gonna get like all-star money, but isn't an all-star. He had a breakout year for the Jazz last year, but he isn't an all-star. So now for the Timberwolves, I'm gonna give them a B-. They need a point guard. Unless they think Jimmy Butler can play point guard, they don't have a point guard. They traded Zach LaVine, they traded Chris Dunn. Unless they think Tyus Jones can start, then this is not gonna work. They need to get a point guard on either free agency or trade for one. I don't think they need to trade for one good, but like maybe Reggie Jackson. I don't think they should sign anyone. I think like signing people like George Hill and Derrick Rose for like max contracts is idiotic, because they're not superstars. And Kyle Lowry, I think, would be idiotic too, because in 4 years he's gonna be like 35, and he's not gonna be that good. He's gonna be making like 30 mil per year. It's kind of be like Joe Johnson when he was on the Nets. So that would be a logjam with the contracts. And when the Timberwolves are trying to build for this young future, they don't need a veteran coming off the bench who's barely playing, making $30-some million per year in 4 years from now, because Kyle Lowry's going to be good, like, next season, but I'm saying, like, in 4 years from now, he might not be as good, which is why I don't think the Timberwolves or most teams should go after him. The Timberwolves, they are getting a pretty solid pick, so they need to hope that Gordon Hayward doesn't re-sign, because if Gordon Hayward doesn't re-sign and the Jazz struggle for the next 2 years, then that's going to be a good pick. Like, maybe even if it's like top 5 or top 3 protecting, then the Timberwolves could still get like a lottery pick. And next year, I'm assuming it's for 2019, I'm assuming it's unprotected. So if that pick is really like, you know, I'm lost. If the pick becomes really good, then the Timberwolves definitely win this trade. But if they don't have a point guard, who's going to play point guard? Tyus Jones? No. Maybe they should go after like a Patty Mills to play point guard, because Patty Mills isn't going to want too much money. And he's not bad. Like, he's not as good as Derrick Rose or Drew Holiday, but he's going to want much less money. Or they could trade for a pretty young point guard. I'm not saying, like, a great point guard, but, like, a Reggie Jackson, Elfrid Payton, someone like that, I think could be nice for the Timberwolves. I wouldn't mind, as a Pistons fan, doing something involving Reggie Jackson. I don't know what they could give us, but they could find something. They could find... I'd take like a Towns or a Wiggins or Jimmy Butler, but I don't think they'd be willing to give us any of that. So, I mean, there's not much else they could really give us, but there's got to be something, right? I know this video is a little quicker than the normal trade ones, but it's more simpler than the Chris Paul and Jimmy Butler trade, since it's one player for one pick. And it's not as big. It's Ricky Rubio's not an all-star. Chris Paul's an all-star. Jimmy Butler's an all-star. Ricky Rubio's not an all-star.